FNAF is turning 10 this year, and to celebrate, Scothin himself made a Twitter announcing all the reveals leading up to this special day. Now, there is plenty to cover from this image alone, from the possibility of a new Steel Wool game or DLC, to the potential that we will finally be getting a FNAF x Fortnite collab. I want it so bad. And I'm sure each piece of this release has got some lore jammed into it, but what has caught my attention for this video in particular is the second to last reveal, being the Click Team demo of 5 laps at Freddy's and its possible connection to this image. Upon the announcement of this new Click Team FNAF title, people almost simultaneously linked it to this image, because not only was the picture released by Click Team themselves, but when you examine Lolbit in this image, you notice that they do appear to be wearing very racing inspired gear. This connection is pretty obvious, but what if I told you this isn't the only teaser we have? As many of you probably know, Click Team released this video on Halloween, and the way I think it relates might change the lore forever. I'm so confident, in fact, that you'll want to make sure to stay to the end, where I make a bet with all of you that I'm sure you'll enjoy. But before that, I've got to invite you to the Ostentatious Nation, or as the cool people call it, the Tation. For the low price of your subscription, you can become a part of this quickly growing community of fellow FNAF, Sonic, and general content lovers. With a Discord and Twitch also linked below, there's so many ways to enjoy and get to hang out with me and my stellar community. I mean, look at how funny they are! Wow! For this insanely great humor, you'd think you'd have to sell your soul to join. But nope, just a subscription is enough. So what are you waiting for? Join the Tation today, and let's get into this video. So FNAF World has got to be one of the most important games in the lore, because it won't stop showing up. Outside of how I connected it into the narrative of our Steel Wool title games, in a video I highly suggest you check out as I solve who this dust guy is and how Helpy could be the linchpin of it all. However, we still have so many references that lead us back to FNAF World. Be it all the recurring characters in Ultimate Custom Night, the parallels in Ruin with the mask arguably taking us to the flip side, a glitchy distorted reality just beneath our own. Or how in Help Wanted 2, the end credit music we hear after beating the game is a remix of one of the tracks, and again, FNAF World. But for as much as the game reoccurs, there's a character who arguably shows up more, Lolbit. Now, this Funtime Foxy recolor, who plays our shopkeep in FNAF World, is very interesting and hardly talked about. But I think how they are included into titles might very well be a key into understanding the more complex world of the FNAF universe. Not quite following? Well, let's take a step back to discuss Lolbit's roles in the Five Nights at Freddy's games. We start with FNAF World, where in a landscape filled with misfits and recolors, we're given Lolbit, who is seen in multiple areas acting as a shopkeep, selling us different items for our journey. This made sense in the context of the game, as she fit alongside all of the zany characters. But then, we see them in our very next title, Sister Location, where upon dying numerous times by Funtime Foxy, Lolbit's head replaces innards in the main control room, only to then play a bigger role in the next update of Custom Night, where in the roster Lolbit is included among our selectable characters, appearing in the preset levels of Funtime Frenzy, Weirdos, Bottom Shelf, Cupcake Challenge, and Golden Freddy, where in-game, their head shows up on the monitors, with failure to type out LOL on your keyboard before all the monitors are filled, leading to an audio distortion, as well as a please stand by image with Lolbit's head in the center, taking control away from the player. Only for them to take a break on FNAF 6 to come back swinging in Ultimate Custom Night, where Dee Dee, another FNAF World reject, can add Lolbit from her secret roster, where upon arrival you were met with the same image from before with the same audio distortion, needing to type the same code to get rid of them. The next time we would see them is in the Help Wanted video game, where in the hard mode of Funtime Foxy's minigame, we get our first look at the full body of Lolbit's Funtime version, who stalks you in place of Funtime Foxy. Then showing back up as a pirate shopkeep in Freddy in Space 2, resuming a similar role to the one they held in FNAF World. Same as in Freddy in Space 3, but dressed as a laid-back astronaut. only to then, lastly, show up on the side of one of the arcade cabinets as a head in yet another monitor. The monitor is so important to Lolbit actually, that we even see this monitor look replicated in the merch. Now, this was our last look at Lolbit until the same teaser I showed you in the beginning was released, where we see Lolbit standing behind a desk, donning racing-themed gear, and what could easily be conveyed as another shopkeep position. What I find so interesting about this image is how they again play as our shopkeep. This position is almost a trademark of Lolbit in the games of FNAF. And I mean that as in the games of the FNAF universe. In FNAF World, we know that the game we play is an actual in FNAF universe game due to the persistence of glitchy environments as well as the direct mention from characters about their code. Furthermore, Freddy in Space takes place in FNAF World and is referenced as a game from this creator, which could easily connect Freddy in Space 2 and 3 as confirmed games. Now, that line blurs when we get to Help Wanted, where we see Funtime Lolbit is in a more aggressor role. However, this game in particular was a game made by Fazbear to combat negative correlations to the Fazbear brand. So Lolbit's role could have been altered to achieve the needs of our Fazbear overlords. Because when it comes to their appearances in the real world, we never see more than Lolbit's head, with the majority of those times being within the monitors that surround our player. Although Ultimate Custom Night is a bit odd, as it's more grounded into the reality of the FNAF universe, but is also definitely somewhere on the plane of Purgatory or a game, or on some really gray squiggly line in between. But this is important because I believe this is because Lolbit is not a regular animatronic like Ballora or Funtime Foxy, but could in fact be a representation of the layers in reality, where the closer to reality we are rooted, the more intertwined Lolbit is with monitors and signal errors. But as we start to delve deeper into what I've theorized to be agony-infected coding, we see more of the whimsical shopkeeper nature of Lolbit blending into the constructed roles around them. Now, I don't believe that Lolbit is a big player as to what is happening in these worlds, unless we were to imply that this was our Tiger Rock head game equivalent. But with the background role they do play, and even the games themselves, I believe that they are just a constant when it comes to the in-universe games, with 5 Laps at Freddy's seeming to further prove this point of my theory. Because as a racing game, FLAF could easily fall into the category of these in-universe games. But if it is tied into our Remnant-coded games, it could mean a connection to FNAF World, and the flip side, leading us to glitched objects to take us a couple layers too deep. Or maybe even lead us down dark rabbit holes like in Midnight Motorist to discover more of the memories hidden within. Or maybe it'll do its own thing, and instead of going deeper into the delusions of this world, we can see ourselves surfacing the water and finding ourselves back in the real world, seeing the cabinets around us where this agony-infected code lies, showing us where all it is spread, leading us to the potential connection this teaser has with the Halloween teaser that came long before it. But of course, all of that is just a theory and some speculation on a game that hasn't even had its demo come out. But I noticed something and I just couldn't stop myself from excitedly sharing with all of you. So wow, obviously as I'm making this video, we get the incredibly convenient news that there is an update in Steam for FNAF World, with the free version having been pulled off of shelves. So you know what? I'm feeling spicy. I am so confident about this connection that I'm going to make a bet with all of you. If 5 Laps at Freddy's ends up connecting to FNAF World, then everyone watching has to subscribe. But if I somehow get proven wrong, which I know I won't, then I will go and buy a maid outfit and wear it during a FNAF 4 stream. My least favorite game, as it's the only one that genuinely terrifies me. That's how confident I am, and you can hold me all to it. So, with that bet out of the way, what do you all think? Is Lolbit showing us the deeper connections of FNAF World and the flip side? Or is 5 Laps at Freddy's just going to be a silly fun game with no canonical ties, kinda like how people thought FNAF World was for the longest time? Let me know in the comments below. And if you like what you've seen, a video will be linked at the end to the start of my series where I break down the Pizzaplex floor by floor, a hard but rewarding community project I do with the people in my Discord. And with all that said, I can't wait to see you all next time.